Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. We are going to go over some stuff from the magazine issue 7. More specifically, there's a lot of really good information about Farming Simulator 25, including animal grazing and pastures. We get some more information about that, the new crops, new brands, all sorts of fun stuff. I'm going to go in the order of the magazine. I'm not just going to put the magazine up on your screen. I will show off some different screenshots and videos. Right now, you are seeing part of the trailer from probably one of the, I don't know, you're seeing one of the trailers that we've seen about something already, so it might be up on your screen right now. But if you guys have not pre-ordered the game, please do so down below in the description. You can use the links down there. Use code FarmerCop at checkout if you would like to pre-order it and go to support the channel. That only works for PC only, but let's go ahead and get into it. So first off, they said, new brands, 18 new brands will make their debut in Farming Simulator 25. The latest expansion of the fleet includes vehicles and tools from large international manufacturers, highly specialized brands, as well as iconic classics. So new kind of brands, we have the 18 they have listed out here. So we have Agrifac, which is a sprayer and self-propelled sprayer kind of stuff is what they do. Aprila, which is motorcycles. Brant, which is flatbed trailer and rollers. Geringoff, which is a header. Gregor, harvesters for grapes and olives, what they make. International trucks are making their debut, which is super cool. J&M, that's the auger wagon. And then MacDon, they have the header and windrower, and that's DLC content. That's the pre-order bonus. Then we have Merlot, which they make telehandlers. Missouri, we have a planter. Novag, we have a cedar. The Piago group, we have the ape tricycle, which is awesome. Pitts trailers, we have a log trailer. Ronnie, we have the bale wrap and everything like that. We got some information on that last week. Rito Fosenbunk, which is the log trailer, I'm probably saying that wrong. Senebogen, which is the material handler and telehandler type stuff. Stima, which is a car trailer. I don't know if we've seen that one yet. Summers, we have a cultivator as well. If you want to check out all the different vehicles and stuff that are coming to the game, you can get a lot of good information from watching DJ. He does videos on basically everything that's coming to the game, taking a look at the Giants website as they update it. But moving on from there, I apologize if I'm talking a little fast. I just want to make sure I get all this out to you guys. There's quite a bit of information. So that says, welcome to the world of Farming Simulator 25. With Farming Simulator 25, we are taking a big step ahead. We use the time since Farming Simulator 22 to significantly improve the game. And they kind of go to talk about the different maps that we have coming. So obviously we have 3 different maps. We have Riverbend Springs, Hutan Pantai, and Zanka. Riverbend Springs was inspired by the landscapes of the American Midwest along the Mississippi River. The central element of this map is the majestic river that crosses the area from east to west. Along this beautiful designed river landscape, players will find a variety of charming vistas that invite them to explore the area in much greater depth. Hutan Pantai creates a typical East Asian landscape from coastal wetlands to mountainous rice fields. Around the central town, players will find plenty of lovely details, such as an ancient palace with its pagoda, or the busy port complete with straddle carriers moving containers around the area. Then we have Zanka, the Central European-themed. Zanka expresses the flair of Germany's neighbors, drawing inspiration from Poland and the Czech Republic. Not only does it offer a picturesque landscape around a remote, quaint village, it also has fertile ground perfect for vegetables and the new crops. And then we have, it says more realism from the ground up. So they have the change in the weather, which they talk about here a little bit. Then the interactive characters, but we've had a lot of information about them, so I'm not going to read too much in there. I would also say you guys can definitely order the magazine. There'll be a link to that down below in the description. It's out now if you use code FarmerCop. That's a good way to support the channel. It's like $3 or something like that to buy it. You can get it in different languages as well. And that's a good way to support the channel, especially if you're a console player and you're wondering how you can support the channel. That's a good way to do it because, well, obviously the magazine is for all platforms. So you can just buy it using that and read it. And it's a digital download, which is pretty cool as well. So you can read it right away. Then we move on. It says, in the fields and stables, new crops and animals, more variety on field and pasture. One of the hallmarks of the Farming Simulator series is that every new installment adds new technical improvements and features and more gameplay variety. This time, Farming Simulator 25 introduces 4 new crop types and 2 new animal species, all with their corresponding production chains. Also, there are cute baby animals. New crops to grow your business. What would an East Asian landscape be without rice paddies? Befitting the new setting, rice is one of the new main crops added to Farming Simulator 25. Together with new machines like the Iseki and the different types of machines in here, it talks about those a little bit. There's 2 types of rice, however. Then we talk a little bit about that, but we have information on that. Populating pastures with new animals. It says one of the biggest changes to the animals is the introduction of young animals, which we know. So we have animals in 3 stages. You basically have, you know, baby or very young, and then you have kind of adolescent and then adult, which is pretty cool. And that's a big step forward, I think. And then we talk about the new kind of animals we're getting. So there's a saying that every farm needs a goat. Thanks to the efforts of our animal experts, they're now able to offer players the opportunity to add goats to their farms. Not only are they cute, but they also serve a purpose on the farm by providing milk. Another species that makes its debut are water buffaloes. Native to a wide area in South and East Asia, these animals are well suited for tropical and subtropical climates. Though native to the southern parts of the world, players can raise this type of cattle for dairy production on all maps. Building community for those who like to shape your world. You can now donate some of your time and resources to help civic landmarks, which you've talked about that. And now here is where we get some information about grazing, which I think a lot of you guys are really very excited about. Living lawn mowers and dynamic pastures. Why bring food to your grass feeding animals? They spelled grass wrong. I'm missing an S. When you can bring your cows, sheep, etc. to a meadow and have them eat the fresh grass there. Now you can. This has been a very widely requested feature by a lot of you. The dynamic pastures feature lets you place fences on any large meadow and grass field you own. This can now be used to feed your animals straight from Mother Nature. Of course, with seasonal play enabled, you need to bring them back to their shed in winter and have enough fodder to bridge the time until next spring. So basically, you can build a pasture, move them out to those pastures, they can eat there, then you can bring them back to the barn and feed them there in the wintertime, which is very cool. Then it says, of course, there's a lot more new cool stuff in Farming Simulator 25, gameplay additions, improvements, visual and technical updates, and more. Find out more in the issue on our social media channels and on our blog, farmingsimulator.com, which is pretty cool. And then as we go on a little bit here, there's still some more stuff, actually. I just want to make sure I'm not missing too much things here. I don't want to read necessarily the whole magazine to you guys. I don't think that's necessary. It talks about some of the new ground deformations as a bumpy road, talking about that, and What a Wonderful World, talking about the fog and water ripples and stuff like that on the game. Finding a way, then here's a little bit of information about the AI helpers. Let's see what they say about that. It says another important request was to improve the AI helpers. Where in previous versions they could get lost from time to time, the new improved GPS steering assist guides them much better around corners, lets them deal with headlands, and even lets them drive in different patterns to add more realism. Working on the AI system had some other benefits as well. All road traffic and pedestrians will look more natural in their behavior. Also, there will be a lot more different vehicles like the straddle carriers of Hutan Pantai Harbor or the river barges of Riverbend Springs. So that's pretty cool. I like that. From the deep undergrowth, it talks about plants and trees here a little bit. Patched up and dirty, it talks about another feature of the Giants engine are decals. Thanks to a new way of generating textures, the visible skin of all objects in the game, houses, the ground, machines, etc., can now be overlaid with decals, visual objects that add depth and variety. So pretty cool. And that's like talking about like getting mud on them and stuff like that, which is very cool as well. Then it talks about new modding options. It says Farming Simulator 25's upgraded game engine comes with a number of internal changes that vastly expand the capabilities of old systems. Materials. These changes come with additional options for modders who will now have a broader range of materials. Now individual layers can be combined to create more varied tangible surfaces. Moving away from a static set of UV textures, the parameters determining the visual properties of e.g. machine parts or environment objects can now be tweaked. New shaders supported by a newly collaborated color palette. The upgraded Giants engine gives mod developers more options to create an even more authentic atmosphere. Plugins for developmental tools make working with the new system easy. And they have some more information about that, and then Mod Tutorial 6 will be released as well with the new game. But yeah, then they go on to have some stuff about mods for Farming Simulator 22, which I'm not going to worry about. Then they do have a little blurb about the Ignition Interlock if you wanted to learn more about that, which that comes with a collector's edition. And they have the Modder Spotlight with BC Bueller Farms. And then they talk more down here about how to handle the new crops, which is super cool. So this I actually am going to read because I'm pretty excited about this. And it's going to talk about some of the care required for crops, which we haven't had a lot of information on just yet. So it starts off with rice. And this says the Farming Simulator Academy up there. So there'll probably be Farming Simulator Academy videos and stuff that's put up by Giants. I will also do tutorials, of course, on my channel. That'll be probably more straightforward and easier to understand than those, so you can stay tuned for those. Those will be some of the first videos I do. But let's go ahead and read about rice to start. From sprouts in the patties to the delicious foundation of many meals, rice is a staple food for many people. With Farming Simulator 25, you are able to dive into the secrets of how to grow rice on your own fields. There are two types, long grain rice and what we call just rice. They differ from looking at the way they are planted and harvested. We take a look at rice here. The ideal time to start your endeavor is between April and May if seasonal growth is enabled. Step 1. Placing a rice paddy. Open the build mode to place a rice paddy. That's a field deepened for water retention. Start with placing one corner and then drawing the shape of the field. You can adjust the height and depth of the field according to the surroundings. It's pretty cool. Step 2. Planting the rice. Before sowing, you need to fill your paddy with water using the water pump. After that, fill your planter with saplings and fertilizer, yes, both in the same machine, and start sowing. Step 3, managing water. You need to maintain different levels of water during several growth stages. You can raise or lower the water level, just interact with the water pump on a daily basis, and you can have it do it automatically. Step 4, harvesting rice. Once it is time, you can use your harvester and bring in the season's yield. Then step 5, preparing the next harvest. To cultivate another batch of rice, apply lime to the field after every third harvest and cultivate the paddy with a cultivator. So pretty straightforward. Now we move on to green beans. Green, healthy, and a tasty addition to many dishes. Green beans. You're used in soups, stews, and casseroles, raw or steamed, boiled, stir-fried, or baked. It's a solid crop for a solid diet. Should you want to give green beans a try, you best get to work at the start of April until the end of July. So step 1 is applying lime, improving the field or the yield by applying lime. The field information box will tell you if your field needs it. Get it from a dealer and use a spreader to apply. So basically what we've learned so far is lime is definitely coming back. Step 2, cultivating. First, cultivate your field. Preparing the soil is important for your plants to germinate properly. Step 3, planting beans. Right after planting your beans, use some fertilizer to maximize the yield. Step 4, fertilizing. Fill a fertilizer spreader with fertilizer and apply it to the field. Repeat the process after the crop has grown a bit to increase fertilization to 100%. So 2 fertilizer states again. Step 5 is weeding. Once you spot small weeds in the fields, use a weeder to get rid of them. If they grow further, you need a hoe or a field sprayer, but try to avoid that. So we might see a deficit for herbicide being used and stuff like that. Step 6 is harvesting. As soon as the crops are fully grown, you shouldn't waste any time. Use a specialized bean harvesters to get the job done. Now your fresh beans are ready for further processing. And then lastly, we have one on spinach here. Spinach is an interesting crop. Not only is it a healthy, leafy vegetable, it also can be harvested twice in one season. However, it is important to keep in mind that spinach needs to be fresh and therefore sold quickly. You can't store it like other crops and need to sell it right away. So once the steps are simple, I can't talk anymore. Steps are simple. Me reading for this long is just killing me, probably killing you guys too. I apologize. If you don't want to listen to me, you're going to get an order of the magazine or buy it yourself. Step 1, prepare your field. Check your crop calendar. Spinach can be planted starting in April. Cultivate lime and fertilize the field as you would with any other crop. Step 2, get the seeds into the ground. Planting spinach is simple. All you need is a seeder to sow your spinach. Step 3, roll the soil. Using a soil roller to compact the ground is a good investment, as it will increase the field's yield even further. You can skip this task if you want. So some of these, I think, they're just throwing in some different possible field steps in different orders here. So on the rice, they talked about, seeders they talked about managing water, which is specific to rice, but they also talked about when you're planting it, the fertilizer can get put down with a planter as well. And then they talked about applying lime. Then in the green beans, they talked about applying lime as well as they talked about fertilizing twice. So we'll probably do that. And they talked about weeding. Now this time they are talking about rolling, which we know is another field step. So you probably can do all of those or some extent of all of those on all the different crops, but they're just talking about it here for that. Then it says, roll the soil. We got that. Step 4, defeat the weed. And when you spot weeds popping up, get your specialized machinery to get rid of it. Otherwise, you can say bye-bye to a portion of your income. Step 5, harvest for a profit. For harvesting, you really need a special harvester to ensure that your crop is preserved in its full leafy goodness. And they have a tip. After that, spinach needs to be sold immediately. It cannot be stored because it would spoil quickly. Check which selling station offers the best price. So I don't know if it'll just spoil in the back of your trailer, your harvester. If that'd be kind of crazy if it did that. But yeah, and then it says harvest twice. If you plant it and harvest it as soon as possible, your spinach will start growing again for a second harvest in September, which is super cool. Moving down from there, they have an influencer spotlight, which is a German creator, I believe. Then they show off the fact sheets, and then they have some information about the FSL. And then they talk about in January, they're coming to Llama. Well, they show it off as in their upcoming events. It's on there for January. So, and I will be at that event. So feel free to come say hi to me there. We're doing a community meetup, which is unfortunately sold out, but also fortunately it'll be very cool. But make sure you get into that next year if you want to come see us there. And they also have Agritechnica and a bunch of other events on there as well, which I will probably also be going to Agritechnica, which is super cool. And they talk about New Holland as a brand spotlight. They talk about the arena mode, and then they talk about their merch and the collector's edition a little bit. But yeah, so there's a lot of really cool information there. So yeah, make sure you guys check it out. Order the magazine if you want to get some more info. I don't want to just read it off and show you the whole magazine. One, because I feel like I would get in trouble for that. But anyhow, if you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos that I may post. This has been Farmer Cop. Thank you guys for coming and watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.